Esther 1 and 2. This account begins in 483 BC. 54 years after Zerubbabel led the first group back to Jerusalem, and 25 years before Ezra led the second group. Persian king Ahasuerus was probably campaigning for his intent to go up against Greece and threw a big party. In his drunkenness, he called for his wife Vashti to come so he could parade her in front of his guests. She refused to come, and through counsel, Ahasuerus agreed to remove her as queen and find another. The Jew Mordecai was raising his cousin Hadassah, who would be called Esther, entered her in the beauty contest, and she won. She was chosen as queen. Mordecai was moved into a position as judge at the king's gate and discovered a plot against the king. He notified Esther and saved the king's life. Now remember that we are witnessing the events in a pagan kingdom. We surely have many questions about how husbands should treat their wives and whether it was appropriate for a Jewish woman to offer herself to a pagan king. But the focus we will take here is the one of the sovereignty and providence of God. God knows the future, and he orchestrates events and uses people to accomplish his purpose. God knows he will need a king who will allow Ezra to lead people back to Jerusalem. God knows he will need a queen who will be used to protect the Jews from whom the Messiah will come from annihilation. Oh, how omniscient, all-knowing, omnipotent, all-powerful, and wonderful is our God. Acts 5, 1 through 21, Ananias and his wife Sapphira sold a piece of property and then lied about the price they got for it. They kept some of the money and yet apparently fabricated the story that they had given the entire amount to the apostles. Peter makes it clear that they weren't required to give any money, but the problem was that they had lied to try to make themselves look good. Both of them dropped dead. God is in charge here and is making a statement for the purity of his church. Christianity is a relationship and fellowship with Christ, and God reveals his heart regarding those who turn it into something else. Jesus is still the head of his church, and he still has the same heart regarding her purity before him. Great fear came over the whole church. Our God is a holy God, and we should approach him in reverence. He knows our hearts and whether we are playing games or not. Many signs and wonders were taking place at the hands of the apostles, confirming their message and the power of the Holy Spirit. The Sadducees were filled with jealousy. Note the problem, jealousy. They had the apostles put in jail, but during the night, an angel of the Lord opened the gates, brought them out, and told them to go preach in the temple. Wow, what an amazing time for the early church of Jesus Christ. The Lord is making himself known in his holiness and power, and clearly showing that he takes care of his own. We live in a time when society has turned its back on God, blown him off, and is doing its own evil, wicked, compromised thing. The apostate church is doing the same thing. God is allowing this right now in these last days, but he still holds all accountable and responsible. The line has been drawn. Which side are you on?